The Room Act is one step closer to becoming official IJ model legislation. I'm Sam Hooper, Legislative Counsel at the Institute for Justice, and as a lot of you know, I've been working on drafting some new model legislation that would focus on re-legalizing a form of housing that used to be ubiquitous in America and whose gradual removal because of zoning and building code and financial incentives has really driven the housing and homelessness crisis. And that form of housing is single-room occupancy, also known as co-living or boarding houses. They were once ubiquitous throughout large portions of America, and they were great for all kinds of people. They were the bottom rung of the housing ladder for a lot of people that would otherwise be homeless, but they were also great for people moving to new cities, for young professionals just starting out, for people getting their first foot on the housing ladder, for people that valued priority to the center of town and amenities over large space out in the suburbs. For all these different people, single room occupancy, building SROs, guest houses could be great, but the choice to live in them was taken away by big government. We think that's wrong. Not only has it driven homelessness and the housing crisis, but it's an infringement on property rights. If people want to create single-room occupancy and co-living, then they should be allowed to do so. And if people want to live in them, they should absolutely be allowed to do so. So our model legislation that we're currently working on, the Room Act, or the Restoring Options in Occupancy Models Act, would do just that. It would preempt a lot of the restrictive zoning, a lot of the overly complex and unnecessary building code and usage and local government regulations that have stopped single-room occupancy and building and boarding houses from being legal. But obviously, we don't just create model legislation and slap it on our website. It has to go through a rigorous process first. And I've been working with a lot of our partners in some of our statewide housing coalitions, a lot of experts at various organizations, to understand what should really go in this model. What would it take to actually change the law so that single-room occupancy and co-living could be built again? I got some really helpful feedback from them. But today was a particularly important. Today was our internal IJ review meeting. So this is where I would present the bill, go through it line by line with the leadership of our Zoning Justice Project, with Megan, my boss, the director of our legislative team, with a bunch of other experts within the Institute for Justice, and everyone gets to then pick it apart line by line. Where are the weaknesses? What could we add to it? What needs to be clarified? And it was a very good meeting. There's definitely some changes that we need to make, some things that we need to clarify, a few things to remove from the bill, actually, which is always good, making a model shorter. But overall, the tone was very positive. People love the thrust of the bill. They love the direction. It's ideologically very in line with IJ's property rights perspective, obviously. And we think this is going to be the next cusp of housing reform in America. I think it has huge potential to do a lot of good. So I'm looking forward to getting it through final review and sharing the full text with you all soon. But for now, this is Sam Hooper just checking in on the latest update on our Restoring Options in Occupancy Models Act, our Room Act model legislation, re-legalizing boarding houses, SROs, and co-living.